It's time for the Saturday Sports Show on WMIX. On your radio at AM 940 and online at mywithersradio.com. Recognized by the Illinois Broadcasters Association as one of the premier radio feature programs in the state. You're about to roam the region with more guests and content courtesy of Crossroads Community Hospital. Live from the Powerhouse, the Saturday Sports Show starts now.
And good morning from the Powerhouse. Glad to have you with us for the Saturday Sports Show. It's presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Busy lineup for you this morning. We'll talk with Mount Vernon Rams head football coach Jared Shaner. We'll talk with Sesser-Valier-Waltonville head coach Johnny Hollis. We'll talk with Rams golf coach Quinn McClure. Of course, Coach McClure has two individuals up at state today. They'll finish up their high school golf careers. It'll be Trevor Flota and Matthew Williams. We'll talk with Quinn McClure about their progress and what we can expect up there in Normal today. John Shadowens, our WMIX sports correspondent, will join us as well. We'll also talk with Sam Root. He is the Weber Township athletic director. We'll talk about a fundraiser that's going on in Blueford. Of course, we'll also keep you up to date with all of the scores from last night. We'll preview next week. We'll also talk a little high school volleyball. And who knows what else may pop up here on the Saturday Sports Show. But it was a busy night of high school football last night. Of course, we'll get to the scores in just a moment. But all in all, we had the call of the Mount Vernon Rams and the Centralia Orphans on AM 940 with video on mywithersradio.com. And the Rams, I thought, just kind of ran out of gas defensively throughout the game. Of course, they took a 14-8 halftime lead into the locker room. Just kind of ran out of gas defensively, and the Orphans ended up prevailing 43-26.
That's basically what it was, and Mount Vernon played very well, did what they had to do a lot of times to keep the lead, but I think defensively, chasing Campbell and Scott around the field all night, eventually a defense is going to wear out. And again, Campbell is one of the few guys you mentioned in the laurels of South 7 football. Jason Ford, Seth Smith come to mind, others that have went through Hickey Thompson at Belleville-Altoff years ago. They weren't in the conference then, but they are now. Guys that can win football games by themselves. And I think when you see in a team sport such as football, you can see a guy take over a basketball game and win it. You can see a guy take over a baseball game hitting and pitching. But you don't see a guy very often at the high school level be able to come in, take over a game offensively, and win a game by himself. Rashad Campbell is that guy right now. It was Jason Ford. It was Seth Smith. Now you're looking at Rashad Campbell of Centralia. He is a guy that if you haven't seen him yet, get out and see him. A few games left in his career at the high school level. He is a man among boys and one of those few game changers that we get to rarely see here in Southern Illinois.
Well, and it was a special occasion last night. Of course, it was Orange Out Night presented by the Mount Vernon Township High School Future Business Leaders of America. And orange T-shirts in the crowd. Jared Shaner and the Mount Vernon Rams chose to go with the special orange jerseys last night from a previous series of Mount Vernon uniforms. And I don't know if it was the orange. I don't know if it was the fact it's rivalry night versus Centralia. I don't know if it's the fact it's senior night. Somehow the Mount Vernon Rams came out inspired, played great football against the Orphans, and I really thought that Coach Shaner, it was a nice touch. We'll talk about this with him, but I thought it was a nice touch to pull out the old orange uniforms on Orange Out Night. And, of course, it meant some different numbers for some different kids out there, but it just seemed like with some wrinkles added to the offense, the fact that all those intangibles combined just made it a great atmosphere for high school football.
Well, it's for the kids. It's about the kids, and it's all about for them. And then, you have senior night. You have some senior football players, cheerleaders, and band members. Their last time they're going to play at a football game at that field in an organized setting. Been put a lot of work in 4 years. And then the fact that Mount Vernon goes in, they don't tell the kids. They come out. They go in the locker room to come back out to start the game, and they get the orange uniforms. That was a nice touch on Orange Out Night. And, again, it carried them, and their play carried them for, I would say, 80% of the game. And then, again, you could see the gas tank kind of was on fumes on both sides of the football. And with that being the case, Mount Vernon comes up just a tad bit short. But, again, look at what's going on. You play Marion tough. You play Carbondale tough. You're playing Cahokia tough. You're playing Centralia tough. Things are starting to turn at all levels of the Mount Vernon High School football program. Only one game left. Nice to get out next week and go to Mount Carmel and win that one. But, again, you start to see the leaves turn, the worm turn, in this time of year of the Mount Vernon football program.
Well, and, we were giving kudos over on the air last night. Again, kudos to the Mount Vernon Township High School maintenance team. Kudos to the Mount Vernon Township High School football coaching staff. That field last night, for all intents and purposes, by comparison to 1 week ago, was immaculate. I mean, sure, you could still see cleat marks from where there was mud the week prior, but, I mean, for all the work they put into it, watering it, rolling it, hand raking it, to get that playable and, walking around on it before the game. Sure, there were some bumps and bruises to that field, but by comparison, I mean, that place was immaculate compared to last Friday night.
When you walked out last Friday night and you looked at it and you thought, man, there's a game here a week from the night, and it was in a muddy, tore-up, messed-up situation, and then you go out last night and you look at it and walking on the field before the game, there were some rough spots. It's going to happen. Mount Vernon's football field is not a lush Bermuda or Zoysia type of field where there's lots of grass, where the Kentucky Bluegrass a lot of schools are going to. It's that Bermuda, and it's a tightly bowled Bermuda, kind of like short fairways on a golf course. And when you don't have a lot of grass to start with, especially in the middle of the field all times, you get something like last Friday night, tears it up, and you could see where they turned the water on, they rolled it, they raked it, they tried to settle it down a little bit. There were some spots, but again, credit to the Mount Vernon Township High School maintenance staff as well as the coaching staff of the football teams, because without them, that field probably would have been a mess. And again, think about it, there wasn't a lot of injuries last night to speak of due to that football playing surface.
Well, and exactly, and that's part of the key. And with it being all about the kids on senior night, of course, the Rams did come up a little bit short against the Orphans. 43-26 was your final. 15 past the top of this 8 o'clock hour means it's time to check in with all of your Week 8 scores from around the region. You can find a full list on Facebook.com/WMIX Sports. You can always follow us on Twitter at WMIX Sports. Here's your scores from last night.
The scores are always organized by conference, as we've done most, if not all of the year, for your reading pleasure. South 7, Miss Centralia, as we said, beat Mount Vernon 43-26. Altoff in a close one over Cahokia 7-6, and Marion over Carbondale 42-13. River to River last night, the Ohio Division title goes to Harrisburg 20-7. Heron beat Massac 63-21, beat them for the second time this year, rolling up 60 points again. And Murphy beat West Frankfort 27-14. Carterville in a shocker at home beats AJ 43-8. DuQuoin rolls up a double nickel on Nashville 55-16, and Pinckneyville gets another win 35-12 over Sparta. Black Diamond Conference, SVWW beat E. Alvarado Trico 46-0. Johnston City beat Hamilton County 42-16. Vienna Goreville goes on the road to beat El Dorado 22-12. The Eagles are warbling right now at 4-4. Chester eliminates Fairfield from the playoffs 42-14, and Carmi beats CZR 30-24. Cahokia Conference, Columbia beat Redbud 49-0. In overtime, DuPont beat Freeburg 18-12. Breeze Central over Westland 34-6, and Carlisle beat East Alton Wood River in a close one 28-27 to get to 4-4 on the year. Mississippi Valley, Bethalto over Triad 17-12. Jerseyville beats Highland 33-22. And Mascoutah beat Waterloo 33-21. Southwestern Conference, East St. Louis beat Belleville West 26-7. The Beast beat Collinsville 42-7. It was Alton over Granite City 49-19 in a game that I would have liked to have seen Edwardsville beat O'Fallon last night 44-34. In the Apollo last night, it was single-digit scoring for the losers. Charleston beat Salem 42-5. Mount Zion over Effingham 26-6. And Mattoon beat Paris 35-6. Little Illini Conference, they crossed over and played each other last night. Newton over Edwards County 61-8. Olney over Red Hill 49-20. Casey Westfield beat Robinson 28-6. Oblong beat Marshall 22-21. Lawrenceville over Powell Hutt 50-0. And Toledo Cumberland beat Flora 14-6. Mount Vernon's Week 1 opponent Rochester beat Lincoln last night 47-8. And Week 9 opponent Mount Carmel, we'll see them next week at the Pit. Mount Carmel beat Boonville, Indiana last night 28-21. Those scores listed at Facebook.com/WMIX Sports. Divided up, organized for your easily to read pleasure in conference form, so you readers and followers and likers can know who plays what and what conference and where.
There you have it, organized by conference on Facebook, WMIX Sports. Find us there. And I thought the key score that stood out to me out of all of that, all of those scores, might have been out of the Little Illini Conference, the Oblong Panthers and Marshall, 22-21, I believe you said. And Oblong, a team that 20 years ago, perennial playoff power, struggling over the past decade or so. Marshall has been among the tops of the conference, usually battling out at the top with Casey Westfield year to year. And big one, I'd have to say, for the Oblong Panthers.
That was a big one. I think the fact that they get in, and again, that's a tough little deal. They mixed it up over there at the Little Illini Conference, and Oblong is in, and we've seen Oblong last season in basketball has some athletes, and again, it's a good thing for them. Again, they used to be a pretty old power. They used to play Sesser back when 15, 20 years ago during the regular season. They had Carterville a couple years ago, so bounding back into that Little Illini, Oblong again showing us some football prowess.
That they are. Of course, we'll analyze more of last night's scores in the 9 o'clock hour. Scores will come at 15 and 45 for you here on WMIX and MyWithersRadio.com. We need to take a quick break. We'll come back with Mount Vernon Rams head coach Jared Shaner here on the Saturday Sports Show, presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
Southern Illinois has a new home for the Dan Patrick Show, Jim Rome, and Fox Sports Radio. The new 1300, The Fan.
I like that.
Dan Patrick.
I think if you suck, you should be able to practice a little bit more than somebody else. There should be a sliding scale.
Sports talk, fueled by fans.
It doesn't matter if LeBron wins not 1, not 2, not 5, not 7. The Hater Nation will always be coming for him.
The new 1300 The Fan. Another Withers broadcasting station. Online at 1300thefan.com.
If your definition of local is Southern Illinois and adjacent states, pay no attention to this message. Hi, I'm Joe David Cummins, President of Community First Bank. Others advertise the message of being a local community bank. However, Community First Bank is the only local community bank exclusively serving Jefferson County with 5 locations and 5 ATMs. In short, loans and deposits stay local and benefit you.
Community First Bank with locations in Mount Vernon, Woodlawn, Dix, and Ina. Welcome back to Personal Banking. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
When an emergency happens, time is everything, and you don't want to spend that time in a waiting room. So choose Crossroads Community Hospital with our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge. The entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a physician, physician assistant, or nurse practitioner within 30 minutes of your arrival. When minutes matter, choose the ER that doesn't waste time. Choose Crossroads Community Hospital. Visit crossroadscommunityhospital.com/faster to learn more. If you are experiencing a medical emergency, call 911.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, MyWithersRadio.com. Of course, it is 20 minutes past the 8 o'clock hour, which means it's time to talk to Mount Vernon Rams head coach Jared Shaner. Mount Vernon fell to Centralia last night, 43-26. Coach Shaner, good morning.
Good morning.
You know what? Going into last night, I think many of the pundits probably would have expected the exact opposite of what we saw. Centralia to come out early and often score on their first 2 drives of the game. That's what we saw the Mount Vernon Rams do last night. They took a 14-0 lead. But before we get to the game, first of all, I want to deliver kudos to not only the maintenance staff, but your coaching staff as well for getting the field in immaculate shape under the circumstances. Plus, whoever came up with the idea for the orange jerseys on Orange Out Night, 2 thumbs up. I thought it helped make for a great atmosphere on senior night against Centralia.
Well, thanks. Yeah, the field was in really rough shape, and we went out there on Thursday for our Thursday night practice, and it was like being in a cow pasture. If you've ever been in a cow pasture, very very unstable underneath your feet, and just torn up. And Brian right now and the maintenance staff did a great job. They rolled it a couple times yesterday, and got it to be very playable last night, and so that was good. And then the orange jerseys, that was a fun thing for the kids. Those have been in our storage room and just kind of hanging there. And we just kind of thought that maybe if we broke them out, and it just worked out well. We had talked about it early on in the year, maybe doing it for homecoming, and then when they started putting the Orange Out game together, I thought that maybe that would be a good time, and surprised the kids with it. They had no idea, and it just added a little bit of excitement, I think.
I got to ask this. We'll go right to the game. Fourth quarter, there were 3 downs played and not a fourth. Was there a down lost in that debacle last night and in that particular point of the game, if you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. We only got 3 downs 1 series, and it was a mistake by the officials, and those things happen sometimes. I just talked to the guy on our sideline, and he said he had it as 4th down as I sent my punt team out there, and the head guy came in and said, no, turnover on downs, and I was a little upset at the time, and we went back and looked at my play call sheet. We write down every play that gets called, and we had only ran 3 of them, and he came over later and said, I apologize. It was 4th down. You guys should have been able to punt, and again, it's just a mistake, and those things happen.
again, on those things happening, the offense last night played very, very well, dominated at times. Again, I think credit needs to be given to not two things. The offensive line did a very good job, but guys who weren't getting the football, whether it's receivers or running backs, were out there throwing blocks left and right. That had to be very pleasing to you and your coaching staff to see not only your offensive line perform well, but when kids weren't getting the ball in a particular play, they were out there throwing blocks as well, breaking big plays.
Yeah, that was I thought our kids played really hard last night, and that was definitely good. We came out right from the start, and I thought up front we were probably more physical. We lined up that first series and stayed in the same formation of the tight. Everybody in and just ran it right at them and moved all the way down the field. And then, we did that quite a bit throughout the night. And I think you made a good point that, it was not just interior linemen, but it was our other skill kids too, the other halfbacks and fullbacks and split ends and all those things. So, that was definitely a positive thing to see.
Senior night is always an emotional night, bittersweet. It's a big night, a big moment, but also the last time the seniors get to participate on that field in an organized setting. I could see last night there was a lot of emotion, not only before, during, but after the game as well. As some of the seniors, it kind of hits. You understand, hey, I'm not going to play here anymore on this field in an organized situation. And you were talking to some of those players, without going into detail what you said, how big of a heart does this senior class have that you've had to coach now for a couple of years?
Oh, they do. All of them do. And that's a difficult part about a season like this, is you just feel bad for those kids, and for, I would say, possibly all of them. There might be one or two who choose to go on and play in college somewhere, but that's the last time you play football. Last time at home last night, then this coming week is the last time. Football is unique. When you're 35 like me, you can go out and pick up a basketball and head into the gym and shoot around if you wanted to, or go to the park and maybe even get in a 3-on-3 game. And when you're 50, you can certainly still go out and pick up a golf club and go to the course. But the day after you get done with high school football, for 99% of kids, you never put on a football helmet again. You never put on a pair of shoulder pads again, and that's pretty emotional. And those kids have given a lot over 4 years, or some of them 8 years, and when that comes to an end, it's tough.
Speaking of tough, last night I thought the defense did a very good job for a majority of the game containing Campbell and Scott from trying to break loose and make big plays. Again, the game plan going in, was there a plan specifically for a player or two for Centralia, Campbell, and Scott, or was it just a defense to kind of contain and make sure the big plays did not happen as much as they could?
We definitely focused on Campbell in particular, and I thought our defense played really well. Even, it sounds kind of strange if you give up points, but Rashad Campbell, I think our kids played darn near as good as they could have for probably 40 minutes. Those other 8 minutes, it wasn't that we did things wrong necessarily. It was that Rashad Campbell's that much better than everybody else on the field. He's kind of he's a man among boys. He's a man among boys, and I'm sure the game is just so slow for him. He just can watch everything unfold, and he's patient, and he cuts well, and he's got size and speed and strength and athleticism. I thought our defense played well, and there's a couple of those touchdown runs that he had that, 99 out of 100 times we can have a kid right there, and he can make you miss or run over you. And there's not a lot you can do about it, and that's a pretty helpless feeling.
Of course, now you go into Week 9 against the Mount Carmel Golden Aces at the Snake Pit on the road, a facility that if you look at pictures and watch video can be very intimidating upon the eye. But you go in there, Week 9 action. What do you do this week in practice to help? And I don't know if you've ever had the chance to go to Mount Carmel or not, but what do you do in practice to kind of help prepare the kids for an unusual facility like that?
I've never actually been there. A lot of the coaches on staff have. So I'm excited to go to it. It's unique, and For those listeners who don't know, when you pull into the the school and the facility, you're actually up above everything, and you have to walk down into kind of a concrete stadium that's, like I said, below the parking lot, below the school. And they tell me that even when you pull in the parking lot, the lights of the stadium are actually below you, so it's way down there. I don't know if there's anything we can necessarily do. We'll definitely talk about it a bit this week, and just, kind of, I guess, a page out of the Hoosiers book. The field's still the same size, nothing's going to be different there, so don't be intimidated by it. It'll be a unique place, and just think of it as an experience that not everybody gets to do, and hopefully a memory they'll keep for a long time.
Of course, WMIX Sports Social Media Question of the Week, and it's hard to believe it, but the warm weather will be gone before we know it. What is one last warm weather event that you hope to get in before the weather finally turns for good?
Well, probably mow my yard, I guess. During football season, I guess I don't hope it. I hope I get it in, but it needs to be done, I guess. Not home a lot during football season, so just maybe being out on the tractor and mowing the yard, and just having a little peace, maybe. But you guys know that warm weather. We don't even have cold weather in Southern Illinois, so I'm perfectly happy. I'm ready for it to get down to in the 30s at night and highs of 40s, and that's good sweatshirt and shorts weather.
That's perfect sweatshirt and shorts weather. Perfect.
Yeah.
Shaner, we will look forward to seeing you next week at Mount Carmel, and good luck to the Rams against the Golden Aces.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure. That's Jared Shaner, of course, head coach of the Mount Vernon Rams. Good dude, and great idea last night. Orange Out Night, Mount Vernon Township High School, Future Business Leaders of America put that together. T-shirts, of course, were sold, and atmosphere was fantastic against Centralia. They brought a huge crowd, and it was just nice to see with Mount Vernon and Centralia last night, and then adding the orange uniforms to add to that.
It was a very nice touch, very nice thing to do, and again, it's something that people will be talking about for a while as far as changing out the blacks and bringing in the orange uniforms as far as fabric and show and excitement and everything else, with the black jerseys being removed and the orange jerseys being put in.
Of course, our next guest, his team fighting for a playoff spot. The Sesser-Valier-Waltonville Woodlawn Red Devils. Coach Johnny Hollis will join us next here on the Saturday Sports Show. It's presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
You can count on us. Yes, you can.
Out with the old and in with the new. Hi, Roy Schmidt, Ford dealer, Ford Square, Mount Vernon. That's exactly what you'll say when you see the new 2013 Ford Explorer, Ford Escape, and Ford Edge. All three of these leaders in the SUV crossover class boast futuristic sync with My Ford Touch technology, quality audio from the Sony sound system, as well as available Bliss technology. But the coolest features may be the discounts. Save up to $2,000 off MSRP on a new Escape or Explorer and up to $3,400 on the Edge. Come see one of our sales consultants to save big money on any Ford and Lincoln model. New or pre-owned at Ford Square, 1501 Broadway, Mount Vernon. I also invite you to visit us online at fordsquare.com and find us on Facebook.
You can count on us. Yes, you can.
When an emergency happens, time is everything, and you don't want to spend that time in a waiting room. So choose Crossroads Community Hospital with our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge. The entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a physician, physician assistant, or nurse practitioner within 30 minutes of your arrival. When minutes matter, choose the ER that doesn't waste time. Choose Crossroads Community Hospital. Visit crossroadscommunityhospital.com/faster to learn more. If you are experiencing a medical emergency, call 911.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, MyWeathersRadio.com. Chris Hugo with Danny Zerwinski, Jeff Crow in studio as well. Presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Our next guest, his team, the Red Devils from Sesser-Valier-Waltonville Woodlawn. One could say playoff eligible, 5-3 now in the year after a 46-0 shellacking against Alvarado Trico. It's Johnny Hollis. Coach Hollis, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Great effort last night. I don't care who it is. Anytime you can shut out a team, obviously your defense played well. Your offense played well as well, 46-0 over Alvarado Trico. pretty well in a close conference. 5 wins is going to get you into the playoffs. Tell us a little bit about that mindset, knowing that more than likely your team will see Week 10.
Well, we're eligible. I'll say that. The way this year's went, man, you never know. But anyway, we're trying not to look too far ahead. We know we got a big game coming up, this Friday night at El Dorado, and they'll be fighting for a playoff berth themselves. So the season's definitely not over for us, and this will be one of our most important weeks of practice for the year.
When you look at a game last night, Alvarado Trico comes to town. It's senior night, and you're in a situation where you jump out of the gate and you're up 40-0 at half. As a coach, how hard is it knowing it's senior night, probably the last time the seniors play on that field? You want them to play, but yet you don't want to rub it in or run the score up or otherwise. How difficult of time as a coach and coaching staff is it to be in that situation on that side of the score?
To be completely honest, it's harder to coach one of those games than it is if you're on the other side of you're on the other sideline, because you want to get your seniors let them make some good memories, and let them get some touches and make some passes and some plays. And so it is a little bit difficult. But on the other hand, I mean, they know that and they recognize that last night. It's not all about them. It's about our season, and it's also about respecting your opponent. And we were real big about that at halftime. Play with class. And so one great part about it is, in games like that, you can pick your spots and get your younger kids in there and get them some experience.
I'm looking last night, same names popping up. Derek Hood, 4 touchdowns, 13 carries, 139 yards. Trey Widges, 6 for 8, 106. Looks to be, obviously a 4-touchdown game's outstanding, but looks to me like the efficiency with which your team operates offensively is what is really carrying you right now.
It is, and we're getting some great senior leadership. We've not had that in a while, and we really tried to coach these guys up on being leaders and giving them some material and had some classroom sessions on that type of thing. And it's kind of neat to see that coming around, a light bulb coming on for them. And we've got, 3 or 4 coaches on the field, it seems like right now. And kids just seeing things, making reads, pre-snap reads and audibles. And on defense, seniors getting people aligned correctly and when they change formations. So we are pretty efficient on offense right now. I mean, we're not there yet, and we're not where we want to be, but we're making steps of progress every week.
Speaking of that, not where you want to be in the steps in progress, the season will go to Week 9 at El Dorado, a historically tough place to play for Sesser-Valier. Some would almost say a bear of a place to play. El Dorado's a team that's reeling right now, and going into that, you're kind of taking on the wounded animals. You head down to Saline County next Friday night.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they're 4-4. They took a tough one last night, but I know Coach Hampton and those guys. I mean, he'll have the guys ready to play, and they'll be fired up. And I'm sure it'll be senior night for them. Their last regular season home game, and so we expect to get their best effort. And we're going to have to. There's a couple of things that's going to be hard for us to duplicate in practice, and that's the physicality of the game and also their size. It's hard for us to duplicate that. So we're really going to rely and preach our speed this week and just focus on that and look at putting them in second long, third and long situations. That's going to be our goal.
As you are 5-3 and you go in the next week, your 5th win, a close conference, usually means that you get in. Have you or anybody else at Sesser-Valier High School started to look ahead and maybe try to figure out what the possible opponents could be come the first week of the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, you get the stuff on the internet, and people talk all the time, and all the media sources and things. You do start looking ahead a little bit at that stuff, but at the same time, we're really trying to keep our staff and our team focused on Week 9, and then we'll take care of Week 1 of playoffs if we're fortunate enough to make it.
Final question we got to ask is our WMIX Sports social media question of the week, and last warm weather days are coming. There's one going to be today, be a little windy. But what's that last outdoor thing you've got to do, whether it's an activity or a chore, that you need to do before cold winter moves in?
Well, I hope to get the kids out. Play a little game of football in the yard or something before it gets too cold. Also, man, I love to bow hunt. So I hate cold weather.
To be honest with you, if there's not snow on the ground, I hate cold weather. So I'd like to get in the deer stand a few times before I'm freezing.
There you have it. And, of course, Coach, we wish you the best of luck. The Devils the best of luck next week against El Dorado as they look to assure themselves, even though they're playoff eligible, assure themselves a spot with 6 wins in the postseason. Good luck to the Devils.
Hey, thanks, guys.
That's Johnny Hollis, head coach of Sesser-Valier-Waltonville Woodlawn, the co-op. And, of course, they play El Dorado next week on the road. That'll be next Friday night. Playoff implications on the line. El Dorado comes in 4-4. The Red Devils are 5-3. Theoretically, if you want to project them to be in the postseason right now, you could. Most of the time in a close conference, a team with 5 wins does have enough playoff points to get in. But, of course, there's always that off chance that maybe something would happen that they would not.
They are looking 5-3. If they get 6-3, 5-4, they're going to be on the road somewhere. But you want to get to 6-3. You'd rather take an 8-1 on or 7-2 rather than a 9-0. So it's very important for them to win next week, knock El Dorado out, and go from there. And El Dorado, of course, started the year 3-0, look like world beaters, have absolutely fallen on the face of the earth at 1-4 the rest of the time. Don't know what's going on at El Dorado. Things have caught up, but boy, you see Fairfield go by the wayside. Carmi's in. They'll be 6-3 after beating Eldorado Trico next week, but then El Dorado's struggling. 2 teams at the beginning of the year look like world beaters. One's out, one's struggling to get in. Well,
and that's just one of those scenarios where I can only think of one time in the past decade that a 5-4 team from the Diamond did not get in a close conference, and I believe that might have been back in 2005, somewhere around there. But either way, the Devils projected to be in the postseason and see Week 10 action. We need to take a break. When we come back, we'll have scores and more here on the Saturday Sports. We'll have scores at 45. Talk a little bit about some Week 8 action as well after we run down your comprehensive scoreboard here on WMIX, MyWeathersRadio.com. It's the Saturday Sports Show presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
How does Dale's Harley-Davidson in Mount Vernon stay the longest-running Harley dealer in Southern Illinois? How about free pickup and delivery and being the home of the $29.95 oil change? Plus, get financing as low as 1.5 APR, along with the best selection of certified pre-owned Harley-Davidsons. So now you know how Dale's Harley-Davidson stays number one. Dale's Harley-Davidson, open every day but Wednesday, just off of I-57 in Mount Vernon. Visit dales-hd.com and follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
Attention all Medicare Part D pharmacy patients. The annual enrollment period begins earlier this year, October 15th, and ends December 7th. And the Medicine Shop Pharmacy is ready to help you. Stop by or call to make an appointment with Eric Black or Tracy Adams. They'll review your current prescription plan and help you manage your Medicare dollars. Here's pharmacist and pharmacy owner Eric Black.
What we offer to our patients is to sit down with them and answer questions that they may have about their medications, really with the end goal of being to maximize their dollars, because that's, after all, what patients really want. We'll take appointments, we'll sit down with them, take as long as it takes to help them choose a plan that is effective at meeting their needs.
Remember, the good folks at the Medicine Shop Pharmacy are never too busy to take care of you. They look forward to understanding your healthcare needs and will focus on keeping you well. The Medicine Shop Pharmacy, 2339 Broadway in Mount Vernon.
To call to make an appointment, call 618-242-8776.
Score big with a certificate of deposit from People's National Bank. Our 7-month CD is earning 0.33% annual percentage yield. Our 13-month CD is earning 0.47% annual percentage yield. And the best part is, it only takes $500 to open and obtain the APY. Stop by People's National Bank at 413 South 34th Street in Mount Vernon today for details.
People's National Bank, member FDIC. A penalty may be imposed for early withdrawal. APY accurate as of October 1st, 2012.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, MyWeathersRadio.com. Glad to have you with us for the Saturday Sports Show, presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
They will volley for the cure on Thursday night at Side Gymnasium in Woodlawn. 6:15 will be your start as the Lady Cardinals have a pink out night, so to speak. Paint the gym pink. Buy a Volley for the Cure t-shirt from a volleyball player at Woodlawn High School. They'll have a silent auction and raffle, and of course it'll be senior night. All proceeds will go to a local woman battling brain cancer. Spread the word, get the whole community involved. And this is a Volley for the Cure for Woodlawn Volleyball Thursday night. That action against their opponent will get started with the JV matchup at 6:15. Should be a big night inside Gymnasium that night. Help them out, help the local woman battling brain cancer, and paint the gym pink. You can buy a Volley for the Cure t-shirt from a volleyball player It's also senior night. Get out and support the Lady Cardinals.
Yep, senior night, pink night.
Also a big fundraiser going on in Blueford. We'll have Sam Root on the 9 o'clock hour to talk about that. But time now to run down our scores from last night.
Scores in the South 7. Centralia beat Mount Vernon 43-26. Altoff over Cahokia 7-6. And Marion beats Carbondale 42-13. In the Ohio Division last night, Harrisburg is the champs, beating Benton 20-7. Heron over Massac County 63-21. And Murfreesboro beat West Frankfort 27-14. DuQuoin is the champion of the Mississippi Division. They beat Nashville last night 55-16. Carterville over AJ 43-8. And Pinckneyville beats Sparta 35-12. In the Black Diamond, SVWW beats Alvarado Trico 46-0. Johnston City over Hamilton County 42-16. And Vienna Goreville beats El Dorado 22-12. Chester over Fairfield 42-14. And Carmi beats CZR 30-24. A couple of Ram opponents, one from week 1. Rochester beat Lincoln last night 47-8. And Mount Carmel, next week's opponent, beat Boonville, Indiana 28-21. For the other scores from any of the other conferences in our region, go to facebook.com/WMIX Sports, all of them listed by conference for your easy reading pleasure.
Of course, and you take a look at those scores from last night, and I won't say there's any surprises that really stand out to me. I really thought that O'Fallon would take Edwardsville. They end up losing 44-34, as you said. That one kind of surprises me. Always surprised to see a safety, and that's the only thing I can imagine happened in that 42-5 Charleston-Salem score. But all in all, Week 8 played out, I think, like many thought it would.
Well, I think the AJ score where they got beat by Carterville 43-8, I don't think that's a shock that Carterville could probably win, but I think the shock of the spread. The other one for me is Altoff beating Cahokia 7-6. The Comanches are starting to find some things. We'll see if they can win that 5th game and get in. They have the points. They've got to beat Hales Franciscan next week. Another shocker, Vienna goes on the road to beat El Dorado. I think that is a surprise because of the way El Dorado started out and dominated teams early this season and now have to win at home next week against the Red Devils of Sesser-Valier-Waltonville Woodlawn to be even considered with 5 wins. Fairfield getting beat by Chester at home. I'm shocked and some kind of surprised by that, as bad as it was. And Fairfield was another team that started out. And Carmi is a team battling injuries. 30-24. They were up 22-0 in that game. CZR made it a game on the way back down. Another score that's surprising is Carlisle beating East Alton Wood River 28-27. The Indians keep their playoff hopes alive. Jerseyville goes to 8-0, beating a tough Highland team by 11. Jerseyville, Mississippi Valley Conference champions this year. Like you said, I was surprised O'Fallon got beat by Edwardsville, but boy, what a game that must have been with 78 total points scored in that game. And you go to the Little Illini Conference, Olney 49-20. Olney has enjoyed the move to the Little Illini Conference from the Apollo. Lawrenceville beats Powhatan 50-0. That's another surprise. But a Mount Carmel team that is not like it was last year when they got second in 3A. That is a very winnable game for Mount Vernon. If their heads are ready, if they're ready to go and ready to play like they did last night, that is a very winnable game for Mount Vernon next week at Mount Carmel.
You hear a lot of talk about how tough the Big 8 conference is in Indiana, and don't get me wrong, it is. I mean, it's a good Indiana football conference. Sometimes that translates well to Illinois, sometimes it does not. But Boonville is not typically amongst the teams that are discussed as far as being among that upper echelon of teams in the Big 8. And you think of Boonville and especially Mount Vernon, Indiana, as teams that you don't often hear a lot about as far as records over 500 or threatening for a conference championship. I mean, Princeton, Jasper, Vincennes, Lincoln, among others, you know, those are kind of at the top. Mount Carmel any given year can win that conference. But you had a Boonville team going in last night 3-5. Mount Carmel struggled early, ended up pulling away in that one. But I think they're battling the injury bug as well. No reason to think that the Mount Vernon Rams can't go into the snake pick next week and leave with a victory.
No reason they couldn't. And again, Mount Carmel battling some injuries. Their quarterback has been banged up, hadn't played. And again, that's a team that's winning, probably by tradition and guts and getting things done as they're well coached over there at Mount Carmel. And again, if you haven't been to Mount Carmel and you have not been there for a football game and you're a Mount Vernon fan deciding on what to do, I encourage you to go next week because this facility is as unique of a setting as it gets in high school football. I've been to a lot of football fields over the years. This one is as unique as it gets. Get there early, walk around, walk the 126 steps up to the top of the mountain, of the hill where the Mount Carmel stands are concreted into. It is something else to see that football facility, and especially on a fall evening when the leaves are turning and the leaves are colored. Very nice little backdrop and setting for a football game. Now, as Coach Shaner said, when you walk onto the top, you are actually above the lights. So a great facility if you're a Rams fan or a football fan in general, looking for something unique to go see. Go next Friday night to Mount Carmel.
Well, and these two teams battling in Week 9 again is good to see, and it'll be the Rams and the Golden Aces Friday night. 6:40 will be your pregame here on WMIX. Video online at mywithersradio.com to the best of our ability. Not sure what we're getting into internet-wise, and with mobile broadband, who knows. But we'll do our best. If not, we'll have the full archive for you on mywithersradio.com on Saturday. So, that said, we need to talk Mount Vernon Rams golf with Quinn McClure. We'll get to that in just a moment. First, we feel obligated to tell you, not obligated, we feel privileged to tell you. That's probably a better word choice there. Both Matthew Williams and Trevor Flota shot 78 yesterday. They're in a three-way tie for 17th. As far as individuals in Class 2A up in Normal, we'll talk more about that with Quinn McClure, especially how it feels and to have two kids up there, and also talk a little bit about how today may go for them weather-wise. This is a Saturday Sports Show. It's presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
When you think of a celebration, you probably think of confetti, party hats, and a big cake. Hi, Roy Schmidt, Jeep dealer at King City Chrysler Center, Mount Vernon. When I think of a celebration, I think of the Jeep Celebration event. It's 0% financing party on Jeep Wranglers, and you are invited. We have the limited production 2012 Jeep Wrangler Call of Duty model, which is the toughest vehicle in any world and has special Call of Duty interior and exterior accents. We also have a 2012 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Sport or the must-see 2013 Jeep Wrangler Sport. Come talk to one of our associates to see how you can get 0% financing for up to 36 months. It's a Jeep Celebration event at King City Chrysler Center, 1603 Broadway, Mount Vernon, or you can browse our new and pre-owned inventory online at kingcitychrysler.com and find us on Facebook.
Select a checking account that pays you interest. People's National Bank introduces People Select Checking. It has all the services you have come to expect from People's National Bank. Visa debit card, online banking, bill pay, and unlimited check writing. And you can earn 0.17% annual percentage yield on balances over $1,000. Visit me, Melody True, at 522 Main Street in Mount Vernon to start earning interest on your checking account.
People's National Bank, member FDIC, $100 to open. Rate may change after account opening. APY is accurate as of September 2nd, 2012. Fees could reduce earnings on account.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, mywithersradio.com. Glad to have you with us as we near the 9 o'clock hour, presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be in the 8 o'clock hour out by the Mountain Time Zone.
You betcha, maybe in Colorado.
It's 8 o'clock somewhere. Twice a day, you're right.
We welcome back to the Saturday Sports Show Quinn McClure. Of course, he has two individuals up at State, up at Normal this weekend. Coach, good morning.
Good morning.
Has to be a good morning. I looking at the results and keeping up to date through Danny posting on Twitter and Facebook yesterday, and even IHSA.org, keeping track on Matthew Williams and Trevor Flota yesterday. It looks like they both had a good day. Both finished tied for 17th with, I believe, a 78. Looked like a pretty good day out of your seniors.
Yeah, minus about 2 holes. I know Matthew doubled a par 5 on the front, and Trevor doubled a par 5 on the back, and then birdied a hole, and then doubled the next one. So I think you give them both 2 holes back. We're probably in about the top 10. So, but no complaints. You guys know up here, I'm standing under an umbrella right now, and we're doing a 9 o'clock shotgun, and they're getting directions for the day right now. And it's cold, it's windy, it's wet, and I think I told you before, most kids can handle 1 condition. We got 3 today. It's not a very nice day for golf. So.
Hey, I got to look at it this way to let you. I'm gonna see what you say. Is wouldn't it make sense to maybe move golf south a little bit because it's about 55, 60 degrees here?
Yeah, all the southern coaches are in 100% agreement with that. But you're up here. And this is the IHSA headquarters, and there's a lot of you got to look at. There's 112 kids on this golf course, and then on 2 other golf courses, and then everybody's families here. So accommodations would be our huge thing down south. Is we got some courses we could play, but where are you going to put everybody? I mean, I'm just standing here looking at this putting green right now, and there's people everywhere, and we're just the 2A, so you got to figure out the 1A and 3A. There's all these people too. So, but yes, it would be nice to be in the south.
Back to the game, back to the round yesterday, and watching the scores roll in. Basically, you get a couple rounds. I know you took the kids up, and they got a couple of practice rounds in. In that setting and situation, isn't it more of a mental grind knowing it's 2 rounds, that's it, where if something goes wrong on a hole or two, a golfer has to really get mentally strong and be able to keep things going?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's more of a mental grind than it is a physical grind because, I mean, yesterday was a 5.5-hour round, and I'm just today with conditions, it's going to be even slower because, kids got their umbrellas out, and it's just, trying to stay dry and stay warm. It's going to take longer today, even though we're shotgunning. I'm looking forward to probably a 6-hour round today. So if we get a delay, I don't know how we can get done, but that's why we're moved to this 9 o'clock shotgun. I wish we'd have shotgunned at 7. We'd already have 2 hours of golf in if we'd have started at 7. So,
speaking of that, and again, the kids are playing up there, Trevor Float and Matthew Williams, 2 seniors, cores of your program. Talk about them and how they felt after their rounds yesterday at golf up there at the state tournament.
Well, if you would ask them, they would probably tell you they didn't play very well. But, there's 112 kids, and they're tied for 17th and 78, and nobody at our golf course was under par. So I think there was one 9-hole score under par yesterday, and that was it. Everybody else there was a kid shot 35, but then his back 9 was 45. So it's a good test of golf. I mean, it's a tree-lined golf course, and the green's got pretty good pace to them. And then, of course, when you add the wind into it, which it's always going to be up here, it makes for tough conditions. But those two on paper have been they've been our 1 and 2 all year long. One of them was like 38.1, and the other one was 38.2. So. It would have been nice looking at the team scores if we could have got our whole group up here, but they're not saying any of the other kids aren't, but these two they're well deserving of being up here, and hopefully the weather can hold off and they can get to finish this second and last round of their high school careers.
I'm looking at this, going Johnny Miller on you here. What's the number that can be shot up there today, low score wise? Do you think in the conditions you're seeing now?
I always tell the kids is, if you can be right around 150, which would be an average of 75, I think our low score is 72. So, if that kid shoots 78 today, you're talking 150. I would say somebody today, I'd say 75 would probably be a good score today.
That's not bad. And you expecting, obviously, the rain all day? Is that what they're predicting up there in the Bloomington-Normal area?
Well, they're not so much just rain, but they're talking severe storms blowing in here this afternoon. So, like right now, it's already raining. I've got my umbrella out, and I'm walking out to my hole right now. So
what are they? Are Trevor and Matthew playing in the same group today, or they've got them split up in their groups?
They're split up, but they're starting on the same hole, which was how they were yesterday. They were both on one was right in front of the other one. That's how they are today, which for me is great because I can watch them both the whole day long.
And how does it feel for you as a coach to have a couple of your kids make it to state? I meant to ask you that last week, but I failed to do that. But how do you feel seeing 2 of your guys make it all the way up there?
Oh, it's great, and not to take anything away from Trevor, but Trevor's already committed to go play at the University of Illinois Springfield, so it's still a big weekend for him. But it's a really big weekend for Matthew because I think he has aspirations of trying to play golf at the next level, and so you like to see a kid move on, and they both, and not just those 2, but the group of seniors I got, they put in a lot of work. They're a self-motivated group. I didn't really have to do a lot with them, so they made my job pretty easy. I was just kind of a glorified bus driver for this group.
Speaking of the glorified bus driver, we got to ask this as you're standing in that wet, rain, windy, cold weather up there. Where our WMIX Sports social media question of the week is, what's the last outdoor thing you need to do, whether it's activity or chore, before this cold winter weather moves in for the winter season?
I'll probably have to mow that yard one more time.
Hey, you sound like Jared Shaner.
Well, as fall coaches, you don't get to do much outside yard work. So once that season ends, you got to get that yard in shape, because then when the spring gets here and you jump into baseball season, I can't mow in the spring either. So I'm going to have to get a couple billy goats, I think, to mow my yard for me.
What do you got, some U.S. Open rough going on at the house for your boys to hit golf balls out of, or what?
I don't know. I haven't really looked at my yard in about a week, so it may not look good. But yes, I put an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old out there with golf clubs and tell them to start swinging, chop some of the grass down for me.
Coach, obviously the best of luck to Matthew and Trevor. Please pass along our best wishes to them, and enjoy the moment up there today, and hopefully they can bring home some medals.
All right, well, you guys can follow us, because I'm sure they're going to have that scoring going again today. So as I'm talking to you, I'm walking out, and we're getting ready to put the peg in the ground and tee off here in about 5 minutes. So
awesome. Stay safe up there in Bloomington. The weather looks like, or normal, looks like it's going to get pretty nasty.
Yep.
That's Quinn McClure, head golf coach, Mount Vernon Rams, and appreciate him. It's busy up there.
Yeah.
I mean, I was able to make one state finals, and I was on the girls' side back when it was down south. But just a busy day. And, you look at the mesoscale discussion for that area, and there's a risk of severe weather, slight risk to the west, but you get into the east and northeast of about a point north of St. Charles, Missouri, and to the east, north and east of that, and you're in a moderate risk of severe weather today. So hopefully they'll stay safe up there. Hopefully the boys can shoot a good round and bring back some medals to Jefferson County. It would certainly be great to see. As of right now, Matthew Williams and Trevor Flota tied for 17th with another fellow who all shot 78 yesterday. So best of luck, and we'll keep you up to date on Twitter and Facebook to see how they do today. So best of luck to them. Still plenty of high school football coming your way, as we will talk to John Shadowens, WMIX sports correspondent, in just a moment. John, coach, took in the Benton-Harrisburg game last night, so we'll get to talk about that one. It was for the River to River Ohio Championship. Harrisburg wins that one over the Benton Rangers in a battle of Withers Broadcasting and Dana Communications. That game was on WEBQ AM 1240 and also sister station Q106.3 FM. Harrisburg won that one 20-7. We'll tell you more about it when we come back. This is Saturday Sports Show presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
Southern Illinois has a new home for the Dan Patrick Show. Jim Rome and Fox Sports Radio. The new 1300, The Fan.
I like that.
Dan Patrick.
What are you bringing back for us? I'm singing a couple of gold medals. There should be a couple of them just hanging around. These guys go to the bar and put it down.
Sports talk, fueled by fans.
The best smack talker in all of sports lost to the best fighter in all of MMA Saturday.
The new 1300, The Fan. Another Withers Broadcasting Station. Online at 1300thefan.com.
This is WMIX, Mount Vernon, Marion, another Withers Broadcasting Station.
Hi, I'm Elaine. I've been a nurse with Good Samaritan for many, many years. One of the best things about my job is knowing that I work for a hospital that cares so much about the community. We're dedicated to attracting the best physicians and investing in the most advanced medical technologies. Whether it's radiology, oncology, or advanced heart care, we provide some of the nation's most advanced treatment options right here in Southern Illinois. That way patients never have to travel far from their families to receive the care they need. I'm always happy when families come visit. And starting in 2013, that sort of thing will happen even more. That's when Good Samaritan opens our all-new Regional Health Center. Everything about the new center has been designed with patients in mind. It features all private rooms and family-friendly areas that make it easier for visitors to stay overnight. I can't wait to see what Good Samaritan does with this exciting new facility.
Good Samaritan Regional Health Center. Raising a hospital, raising the bar.
The tradition of fine vehicles and great service continues at Second Chance Auto. They've been providing quality cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs for families like yours for over 32 years, and many are priced under $10,000. Plus, most have a 3-month or 3,000-mile warranty. Bank rate financing available with instant approval. No gimmicks, no pressure, just honest deals on great vehicles from your friends and neighbors at Second Chance Auto, living and contributing back to the community they serve. Located on Route 142 East in Mount Vernon, or call 244-4582.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, mywithersradio.com. Hour number 2 of a busy program today. We talked Mount Vernon Rams football with Jared Shaner, Sesser-Valier football with Johnny Hollis. We talked to Rams golf coach Quinn McClure, and now we're joined by WMIX sports correspondent John Shadowens, the coach. Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
You know what? A great morning. Last night just seemed like, weather-wise, finally a perfect night for high school football. Probably a little warm yet. Would like it to be a little bit chillier. But you took in what we all thought would probably be the best game on the schedule, Harrisburg and Benton. River to River, Ohio crown on the line. Did it live up to its potential?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. It was a contrast of two very different styles. Harrisburg now runs that toe-to-toe split, double wing offense. Of course, Benton's a spread it out type of thing. But they both have the same goal in mind, and that's to pound the rock and to control the clock and keep the thing on the ground.
You mentioned last night, you texted me about the first touchdown. Harrisburg scores, Henshaw pass from Roper. Was that the big long drive that the Bulldogs put together to get that touchdown out of the gate?
Well, it was one of three. Their drives were mirror images of each other. They seemingly ran 3 or 4 plays all night. And you know what? When you execute like that and have the personnel that Harrisburg does, you can do that. And what they did was they kept pounding half away in the middle of that line all night long, and Benton had to commit their safeties up to stop the run, and that just freed up Roper to Henshaw whenever they needed it. And it seemingly when it was there, they could just they didn't throw it very much, but when they needed to, they could.
One of the things I look at is Benton's been racking up chunks of yardage for a while this year in the first 7 weeks. Last night, 31 rushes, only 136 yards rushing via the local fish wrap. Is that a case of the Harrisburg defense taking over, or was there some kind of Benton injury or two that kind of stymied their offensive production?
Both. For one thing, I think that Benton finally ran into a team that could stand up to them up front. You know, Benton is just dominating up front. They're big, they're mean, they're physical, and Benton holds their blocks better than anybody that I've seen this year. Of course, I've seen a lot of Black Diamond games. You really can't compare those two. You know, I've seen some South 7 teams as well, and nobody holds their blocks as long and as well and blocks as well downfield as Benton. And Harrisburg had trouble getting off the blocks last night. I mean, Benton was able to move between the 20s. You know, but Benton losing their big offensive tackle, Dalton Ward, early. He's playing on one leg. That looked to me like he wasn't full speed. And finally he came off. And then, of course, Benton losing the quarterback early fourth quarter had something to do with it as well.
I look at this. Benton's kind of had a season where they really haven't had to trail much in a game for a very long period of time. They've had some back-and-forth kind of games during the year. They get down 12-0 early. What was kind of the feel of the Benton sideline at that point when they were down 12-0 out of the gate?
I was impressed with the Benton sideline and their fans as well. I mean, they really stayed behind those kids. And one thing that I've noticed about the Benton kids this year is that they had that never say die attitude. You know, when they fell behind against Murphy late, I was at that game, and those kids just believe that they can win the ball game. And I think a lot of that comes from the success they enjoyed last year. They watched that senior group last year, have all kinds of success, and I think some of that kind of rubbed off where these kids expect to win now.
Speaking of expect to win, a Harrisburg-Benton matchup, that's been a rivalry now last 3 or 4 or 5 years, especially last year's seniors going. Was the intensity revved up more because of that, or did you see as far as emotions and otherwise just the normal spirited battle for a football conference championship last night?
I think both sides were very well behaved. It was intense. The crowds were intense. But I think that a couple of the kids that graduated last year really fed into that rivalry and some, I'm not going to call it hatred, but some of the intense feelings that were there might have graduated a little bit last year. But you know what? It left us with a great rivalry, I think, between these two schools. And what really breeds rivalries is when both teams are good at the same time and the games have meaning. And Benton and Harrisburg have had those both in basketball and football the last couple of years.
And you saw that game last night, Harrisburg beating Benton 20-7. As you look around last night, as you were heading home or got home, watched Sports Extra, was there a game or two that kind of stood out to you last night that went, wow, how did that happen or how did that go on? Any scores like that?
I think the one that set all of Southern Illinois on its ear last night was the Carterville-AJ game. I haven't had the privilege of seeing Carterville this year, and I regret that now. But I've seen AJ, and I know they're the real deal, so I just can't imagine how well Carterville must have played last night to do that to AJ.
Carterville wins last night big. Another one, shocker, back to the Black Diamond. 3 teams kind of going in different directions from the beginning of the year till now, because high school football season is such a long deal. Fairfield, El Dorado, and Carmi. Fairfield eliminated last night. Carmi will get in at 6-3, but El Dorado right now is wobbling really, really bad, going at 4-4. I mean, what's the story, and what do you think's been going on with those 3 teams?
Well, I would like to see the film from last night's game because the first thing that stuck out to me, Danny, was the big fullback only getting 8 carries, and he normally averages 25 carries a night. So I don't know if there was an injury there, maybe Vienna controlling the clock. I'm not sure what's going on there. I know El Dorado has their quarterback back, but I looking at the rushing stats, he must not be full speed. He must have come back, and they maybe protected him. I don't know the story on that, but they need him to beat good teams. He was their game breaker. The quarterback, Shemp. Without him, they're very one-dimensional with their fullback. You know, they've got a nice little the Deaton boy, the halfback. They got a nice little counterplay off the fullback. They run with him, but you can only run that so many times a game. So right now, I think El Dorado is struggling finding ways to move the ball. They don't have a big play threat, so they've got to pound it at you. So if you have penalties or put the ball on the ground at all, you're behind the 8 ball then. And that's what's been happening at El Dorado, I think, the last few weeks.
And the last few weeks will go down, and I kid when I say this, there's an inside story. That bear of a game El Dorado will have next week with the Red Devils. But you look at, yeah, I know, I couldn't help it. I had to. You know I was going to have to. That joke's gotten a lot of mileage over the years. I filled in Mr. Hugo about this, and we'll have it in a week or two, and we all go to the playoff games. But I look to next week. El Dorado has to win to get in. They're 4-4. Heron has to win. I don't know if Heron can get in with enough playoff points, and Carterville at 5-3 I think has to get another. You got some teams with some playoff heritage that have to battle to try to get into playoffs next week with a win.
Now, you sure do. You know, I would want to be El Dorado playing a red-hot SVWW right now. And certainly if you're Heron, you know, you were sitting pretty good until you hear that AJ just got whacked last night. Now, AJ's going to come in with blood in their eye. They're not going to want to go into the postseason with a 2-game losing streak. So, you know, they're behind the 8 ball as well, aren't they?
Speaking of that, and in Heron, they had to double schedule Massac County, who's not going to give them any playoff points. So 2 of their 9 weeks are going to be no playoff points for them. That, to me, tells me Heron could win next week and still not get in, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. You know, they've got some strong teams as well. They'll get some playoff points from other places. And I think that they feel, I listened to Jason Carnes last night on the radio, and I think he feels that they've got a decent shot. But you're right, you know, playing Massac twice this year, what bad luck if they go 0-9. That's like having 2 winless teams on your schedule. And when that happens, you usually don't have enough playoff points. I
would be remiss if I didn't mention this. The Vienna-Goreville Eagles, 6-2, at Johnson City, 6-2 next week. Is probably overstating the obvious that you'll probably go see that ball game. But how good and that program that Vienna-Goreville has had to turn the corner and get a big win like that on the road at El Dorado last night.
Yeah, I agree. And I saw it coming even last year. I watched their lower level kids and knew when Al Way was joining Rude. You know, they're going to be as well coached as anybody in the South. So it's absolutely no surprise. And what fun it's going to be for Coach Rude. You know this game's got to mean something to him, a little extra going back to the place where he really made his name. So that's going to be a lot of fun for sure. I think that the key with Vienna and with SVWW this year is those 2 teams have stayed amazingly healthy this year. And that's a testament to the weight room and how hard those kids work, and a little bit of luck as well. But when you can stay healthy through 9 weeks of football season, you're going to have some success.
Speaking of 9 weeks, next week is week 9. Where are you planning to go next Friday night, at least at this early point?
You know, I still I'm keeping my options open there. I'm not sure yet. I've got some ideas. I was thinking that the Heron AJ game's awfully attractive to me, and I love watching as much River as I can and taking that kind of football. And, of course, you nailed it on Saturday. I think that JC Vienna's a no-brainer there. But I think the early leader right now would be Heron and AJ.
Speaking of that, I just got a text or tweet from Wes Schultz saying that they will be on the lookout for Bears next week when they go. He wanted me to let you know that.
I sure appreciate you guys looking out for me. I was on Route 34 last night, of course, and I could have swore I saw a ghostly image of a bear with a license plate hanging out of its neck. I'm hoping I can survive another trip on Route 34.
we
It's
do
not
too.
an easy trip to make, as we all know, but WMIX Sports social media question of the week, going a little bit differently this week. Not food-related for once, but summer winding down, the warm weather's going to leave us for good soon. What is that one last outdoor event you have to get in before the cold weather hits?
You know what? Our family loves a good old-fashioned weenie roast, and we're going to have one tonight. My son just turned 9 years old. We're going to have his friends over for a weenie roast tonight. It's perfect weather, I think, for it. The rain will stay away. Perfect temperature. So that would be my outdoor event that I have to get in right before it starts to frost, gets too cold.
Okay, I've got to go the food route. You lured me into it. Do you go? What type of weenies do you roast? Do you go all beef? Do you go bun length? Do you go fat free turkey? Good old fashioned Oscar Mayer.
I used to be an all beef weenie guy until I discovered that these New York style hot dogs they have. They've got the different flavors now, and you pay a little bit more for them, but man, are they good.
Well, you get what you pay for when it comes to a good wiener and a good frank.
That's absolutely right.
Amen. Coach, we look forward to doing it again next week. You are WMIX sports correspondent, and we look forward to talking about whichever game you decide to go to.
Hey, I look forward to it, guys.
Always a pleasure. John Shadowens, WMIX sports correspondent. And you know what? I have to laugh.
Yeah.
Because DC and I and Jeff and everybody, we tend to talk about things off the air in the car on the way to somewhere, and we tend to plot what people are going to do. And DC pretty well nailed the two games that Coach Shadowens probably at the moment considering. But, of course, you know what? You look at it on paper, it's probably not hard to figure out. But, you know, your knowledge of each other probably helps that as well.
I mean, it goes without saying. You look at the schedule next week, and we'll get into it more later here in a bit, that, you know, a couple of games. Carbondale needs to win at Harrisburg to get to 5-4. Heron needs to win at home against AJ to get to 5-4, although I don't think Heron's going to get in based on playoff points at this early stage. Carterville needs a win at West Frankfort to get to 6 wins and get in. So El Dorado needs a 5th win next week at home. So it seems like there are more teams that need to win this year than maybe most in the past based on points and wins. And, again, you've got that AJ Heron game, a very interesting matchup. First time they've played each other since the late 1990s and early 2000s. And then you throw in the fact on Saturday afternoon, the conference has already been won by Chester, but Vienna at Johnson City 6-2 and 6-2 up at JC this year on the turf. That could be a very interesting game as well, as far as it's really not meaning much in the conference, but more or less seeding, because both teams need to win, because that 7th win may be a difference between a road game and a home game, and they may see each other again in the playoffs.
Why is Vienna JC on a Saturday?
You know, I think it's homecoming deal.
Gotcha.
For Johnson City is what it is.
That makes sense. Because I know it is if it's at Vienna, obvious reasons, blah, blah, blah,
See
blah,
what you
blah. Oh, yeah, I started
twice.
something. I got that.
Yeah,
I've already fired back. There's a couple of good games. So kind of, if it wasn't at Normandy, I'd be interested in Marion and Normandy, Missouri, but it's at Normandy, and I don't have time.
It's at Normandy.
Of course, I don't know what I have going. I haven't been told what I have going on next Saturday yet, so I have no clue.
Oh, there's options. This one interests me, Vienna at Johnson
it does.
City.
Nobody's told me, though, so.
I'm looking. Yeah, I'm not going to Normandy, Missouri.
I only go where I'm told.
Well,
by Google.
Yeah, right.
Google Calendar.
Yeah, I would say this, and then of course the next weekend is free for all.
Oh yeah.
You know, we got to hope Friday night somebody within about 2.5 hours has a home game. Come on, O'Fallon.
I know. There's one school in our
that
area that wants one desperately, and
yeah.
We'll have to try to arrange with a certain administrator to make that happen. But we'll do what we can. That said, we probably need to scoot out to a quick break. When we come back, we'll run down our scores again. Our scores at 15 and 45. We'll do that when we come back. We're going to run slightly behind on that. This is the Saturday Sports Show presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
Don't just dream about a better job. Go get it with scores of programs that take 2 years, 1 year, or even just a few months to complete. Rend Lake College is your gateway to a career you'll love. From nursing to coal mining, from computer programming to cosmetology, and everything in between. Rend Lake College is affordable, convenient, and ready to get you trained for your new job fast. Call us at 618-437-5321 or visit us at rlc.edu.
The Orthopedic Center of Southern Illinois welcomes Dr. Beth Conrarty to their medical staff. Dr. Conrarty specializes in comprehensive pain management using a multidisciplinary team approach by working with other specialists for optimal diagnosis and treatment of pain. Dr. Conrarty will treat most conditions of the spine, including management of cancer pain. Dr. Beth Conrarty, helping to make life better day after day at the Orthopedic Center of Southern Illinois in Mount Vernon. Call 618-242-3778.
Learn to live healthy, learn to live well, and learn how you can live free from unexpected medical expense with a major medical expense policy from Pekin Insurance and the Page Agency. Health insurance that covers hospital, medical, and surgical expenses offers a wide choice of deductibles and a non-tobacco user discount too. Rising medical costs don't have to be a problem with a major medical expense policy from Pekin Insurance. This is coverage we hope you'll never need, but you just can't be without. Call the Page Agency at 242-7000 about a major medical health insurance plan today.
And we welcome you back. Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, MyWeathersRadio.com. It's presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Time for some scores.
Sorry, I was messing with something.
Messing with the weather.
New app.
Do you create the weather, or you just look at the weather?
No, new app got updated, and I was checking some. It's got some different
I don't like
things
the
on it.
updates.
Well, this update's a good deal because it's a good update.
Last update wasn't good.
Oh.
'Cause I took it upon your recommendation.
South 7,
like
Centralia over. Which one did I recommend to you?
That one.
Oh, they've updated. It's a new update.
Because
they're
the
getting ready to
update prior to this one wasn't very friendly to
No,
mine.
it wasn't, but now it's going to be better. This
All
one's
right.
already better.
Good.
South 7 Conference, Centralia beat Mount Vernon 43-26. Altoff over Cahokia 7-6, and Marion over Carbondale 42-13. Harrisburg wins the Ohio Division, beating Benton 20-7. Heron over Massac County 63-21, and Murphy over Frankfort 27-14. DuQuoin wins the Mississippi Division 55-16 over Nashville. Carterville over AJ 43-8, and Pinckneyville over Sparta 35-12. Chester is the Black Diamond champion, beating Fairfield 42-14. SVWW beat Alvarado Traco 46-0. Johnson City over Hamilton County 42-16. Vienna Goreville over El Dorado 22-12. And Carmi beat CZR 30-24. Jumping around, we'll go now to the Southwestern Conference. East St. Louis beat Belleville West 26-7. Belleville East over Collinsville 42-7. Edwardsville over O'Fallon 44-34. Alton over Granite City 49-19. Apollo last night, single-digit losers. Charleston over Salem 42-5. Mount Zion over Effingham 26-6. Mattoon over Paris 35-6. Little Illini Conference, Newton over Edwards County 61-8. Olney over Red Hill 49-20. Casey Westfield over Robinson 28-6. Oblong over Marshall 22-21. Lawrenceville over Pal Hutt 50-zip. Toledo Cumberland beat Flora 14-6. You can find all those scores nice and neat by conferences at our Facebook page, facebook.com/WMIX Sports. All nice and neat by conference and whatnot. They're listed for your easy reading pleasure.
I'll tell you what, I am computer free today, using only the phone. And that little Facebook post comes in very handy because that's how I'm looking at the scoreboard from last night as far as scores that I care about. So it works out pretty well for me. Facebook.com/WMIX Sports. I advise for you as well if you want to look at the scoreboard from last night. Don't have to be on Facebook. If you despise Facebook, that's perfectly fine. I do as well. But you can go to Facebook.com/WMIX Sports, and there it is. Right there.
Yep.
Looking ahead now. We'll have Sam Root at the bottom, near the bottom of the hour, of course, fundraiser going on in Bluford. But we look ahead to Week 9 in high school football, and, of course, Mount Vernon 0-8 travels to Mount Carmel. Triad and Altoff will battle. Altoff really could use that 6th win, but, we'll see what happens. Hales, Franciscan, Cahokia. Cahokia must win. Carbondale at Harrisburg. Carbondale must win. Marion is 6-2, looking to go to 7-2 at a Normandy team that I believe is under 500. Mascoutah and Centralia. Centralia looking to go 9-0 for the first time since 1969. A lot of interesting stuff going on in the South 7 Conference. And a lot of interesting games across the board, especially get down to the river BDC. But, taking a quick glimpse at the South 7, Mount Carmel probably has to be favored going into this one. They're 5-3. Big come-from-behind win over Boonville, Indiana last night in Big 8 conference play. But winnable game for the Mount Vernon Rams.
Very winnable. And an opportunity for Mount Vernon to get one before the season ends and send the seniors out on the right way and get your underclassmen going, we can do this, bolt them into the off-season training, workouts, conditioning, and weightlifting as well. Of course, there's that success in the freshman level and the junior JV level as well for Mount Vernon right now. Hopefully that will carry over into a winning program for many, many years to come. Altoff at home over Triad, I think, is favored. Altoff will probably win that one. Triad got him last year at home. I think Altoff will return to favor next week. Cahokia against Franciscan, that's a tough one. Cahokia's got plenty of points that they can win next week. Carbondale Harrisburg, that's an interesting one.
So it's a tough one for the Terriers.
It is because Carbondale looks like they have to win. They're going to have enough points. Carbondale will, of course, at 5-4. Harrisburg, you've won your conference. You're 7-1. They're playing for a number 1 seed, so it's like, how long will they play? Will they play a full game? What will Harrisburg do in that case? That game means, maybe more than Carbondale at that point. Mascoutah and Centralia, that could be a dandy, depending on the orphans. We know how good Mascoutah is. And then Marion, of course, next weekend at Normandy, Missouri. Marion should be favored, but again, when you make a long bus trip to unfamiliar territory, anything can happen with 16, 17, 18-year-olds.
Fact. Of course, that's a look at the South 7 for Week 9. Be a look at the river to river. Carlisle, Benton. Carlisle is a team that up and down. 4-4 must win. That'll put a little bit of pressure on the Rangers in terms of Carlisle. And really, yes, there's something to lose there. You lose, you don't make the playoffs, but kind of a nothing to lose mentality. Of course, Benton, their first loss coming at reeling after Harrisburg falling last night, 7-1 now.
The thing about Benton to remember is they've only beaten one team with a winning record, and that's Carterville. They have not played anybody else besides Harrisburg with a winning record of 1-1. Remember that fact going in there, picking your games in the playoffs in the first weekend.
Of course, Benton's in. Carlisle isn't yet. We'll see what happens. AJ and Heron 4-4. Not a lot of playoff points to be had. I thought you hit it perfectly.
Yeah.
Played Massac twice. Massac 0-8 at the moment. Ballard, a pretty good team out of Kentucky.
Heron played Massac. That's no points. Played Carbondale, which is 4 points. Played DuQuoin, which is 6. Then you got to River with Massac again with 0. Frankfort with 2. Murphy with 3. Benton with 7. 6, 7. Harrisburg with 8. 7. And they don't have a lot. They don't have
enough.
They don't have enough to get in right now. I don't think 5
cutoff looks like it's projected to be 36, 37, maybe 38.
Year. Yeah.
Well, we've gone higher every year, but this year looks to be the year that we reached the peak last year and looks to drop this year.
That's probably true.
As of right now, AJ's in at 6-2, so it's a must-win for Heron. Obviously, Massac no chance. 0-8 on the year.
DuQuoin owes Murphy from last year.
Yeah.
They like to go down there and go 7-2. DuQuoin way they've been rolling up points in the last few weeks. That's always been that's one of those not talked about rivalries or football games that's gone on forever. I can remember listening to the games in the 80s between DuQuoin and Murfreesboro, and in the early 90s where DuQuoin and Murphy just have these out-and-out battles between each other when they were part of the Southwestern Egyptian Conference. And, the SWEC, as everybody like to call it, SWEC, and then, of course, DuQuoin and Murphy still play. That's one of those long-time traditions that, DuQuoin owes. And then Carterville, I think, needs a win at what will be a very tough Frankfort team. They re-pick up this schedule of Carterville and Frankfort. Nice to see them play again. Nashville's out. Pinckneyville at 3-5. The injury-battled Panthers could get a 4th win next week at Dupo. And then Sparta, of course, out. So, again, you're looking at AJ, Heron, Massac, Carterville needing wins next week to either solidify their stake and or try to get considered for the playoffs in the River to River.
Yeah, and taking a look at some of those other games around the region, we talked about Carterville, West Frankfort, and how huge that one is. But you look at the Diamond and Carmi. We talk about it frequently that you can pretty well consider yourself in a closed conference such as the Black Diamond if you get to 5. I can only think of one time. I think it was a CZR team that was 5-4. And Fairfield as well.
5-4 in recent years.
Maybe in 07 or 08.
It was recent. It was.
I said 04, 05 earlier, but I think it was more recent than that, 07, 08-ish. So, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility that a 5-4 team out of the Diamond won't make the playoffs, but more than likely they're in. So, Carmi, but they're at Alvarado Trico. They, on paper, should get that 6th win. Hamilton County 0-8, Chester 8-0. Chester looking for that perfect season, should get it. Fairfield and CZR, kind of a nothing left to lose game. Just bragging rights in that one. SVWW El Dorado, there is a lot more on the line there.
Game.
SV would like to get that 6th win, close out their season. El Dorado needs that 5th win at 4-4.
Yes, El Dorado has to win to get in. Team that started out 3-0 have went 1-4 since. Not a good run for El Dorado here. And then again, they dominated early, but people have, I think, caught up, understood the game plan, and figured El Dorado out, and they're beating them handily now. And now El Dorado has to win at home against a hot Red Devils football team in Week 9. That's a tough game always every year for SVWW. But again, a very winnable game if SVWW has their head on. They would like to knock El Dorado out, so El Dorado, I believe, will be 2A. Again, knock them out and have that going on.
Well, and these games, believe it or not, will have a lot of impact on Althoff. Because Althoff, borderline 3A right now. I think as of this most recent playoff outlook, I think Althoff was 3A, but they're the second smallest 3A school. So if you have some of these CPL, Chicago Public League teams win that last game, because here's how it's going to work, I guess. If in the Public League, if you had a game that was canceled by the Chicago Public Schools strike, your last game counts as 2 if you win. Or your playoff points or something count as 2. I forget how that works, but it's going to be very, very confusing. So it's not going to be one of those where you can just kind of look at a previous playoff outlook, calculated who won and how many playoff points they have, without basically breaking down what's going to happen with the Chicago Public League because it is somewhat confusing. I'm confused myself. I'm not even going to bother. We'll talk about it next week here on the Saturday Sports Show. Look forward to that. We look forward to Sam Root after the break here. We'll talk about the fundraiser going on in Bluford for Weber Township High School. We'll take a quick break, come back. Sam Root, Weber Township Athletic Director. This is the Saturday Sports Show presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
Time is everything, and you don't want to spend that time in a waiting room. So choose Crossroads Community Hospital. With our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge, the entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a physician, physician assistant, or nurse practitioner within 30 minutes of your arrival. When minutes matter, choose the ER that doesn't waste time. Choose Crossroads Community Hospital. Visit crossroadscommunityhospital.com/faster to learn more. If you are experiencing a medical emergency, call 911.
America is a nation on wheels. Everyone has at least one automobile. We use them for shopping, work, everything we do. But they can be a threat. Some accidents can't be prevented. Your professional Pekin Insurance Agency, Page Insurance on Crownview and Mount Vernon, can help protect you from a large financial loss when an accident happens. Call Page Insurance today at 242-7000 about low-cost auto insurance from Pekin Insurance. Ask them about the many money-saving discounts that are available. Depend on your hometown professionals.
Pekin Insurance.
Southern Illinois has a new home for the Dan Patrick Show. Jim Rome and Fox Sports Radio. The new 1300, The Fan.
I like that.
Dan Patrick.
I don't think it's good for the sport for Tiger to lose. You know when he's back? When he's holding a trophy from a major.
Sports talk, fueled by fans.
Hey, golf guy, let me give you a piece of advice. Here is one thing you never, ever want to say. I never play this badly.
The new 1300, The Fan. Another Withers broadcasting station. Online at 1300thefan.com.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, MyWeathersRadio.com. Glad to have you alongside, presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
We welcome now Weber Township Athletic Director Sam Root to the program. Sam, I understand the good people of Bluford have a fundraiser going on.
Yeah, our baseball program has got a fundraiser going on today. We have a men's full-pitch softball tournament starting here in just a little bit. We've got our first two teams warming up, double elimination, so we'll be going all day, and tomorrow as well here at our baseball field, and we got a home run derby at 8 o'clock. Also have a doubles washer tournament starting at 10 a.m., and then our big thing is we have a Country Roads out of Effingham coming down and catering a fish fry tonight, and we expect a lot of people with that, and I think we've pre-sold about 700 tickets, and we expect probably hopefully a couple hundred more to come in and eat, and that's from 4 to 7 p.m. It's $9 for an adult, $6 for children 12 and under to eat. That's at the high school gym.
Speaking of baseball season, we had you on a few weeks ago, but your team had a very successful fall campaign. Talk about your season as it wrapped up just about a week ago.
Yeah, fall baseball, it's nice weather. You don't have to deal with the rain usually as much. We ran into a little problem there towards the end, but we had a successful season. Did not end up where we wanted to, but we finished second in the conference, and then we finished second in the conference tournament. North Clay got us both times, and they are, they'll have aspirations of trying to get to state this year. They got a good program up there, and just, a couple hits here and there, and we needed a little Cardinals magic. I guess we couldn't, we just couldn't get a runner in a key spot, but very proud of the boys. We play a very, very difficult schedule for a school our size, and, hopefully we can build upon that and have another successful spring season and, try to go get a regional or beyond.
Of course, that'll be still to come this spring with Weber Township Baseball, but going back to this fundraiser now for your baseball program, things like this, I don't think people understand just the difficulty in funding with the state and things of that nature, how huge these fundraisers can be, especially for a program like Weber Township. And this fish fry, the Country Roads Fish Fry, obviously a very strong name in terms of fish fries. But is that is tonight or tomorrow night, that fish fry?
That is tonight from 4 to 7 p.m. in the high school gym.
In the high school gym, in the pit. Very nice.
Yeah, it's in the pit, and going back to that, especially schools our size, any schools anymore. I mean, money for to play a complete schedule, money to do renovations, and it's not what it used to be. And really, when we took over 4 years ago, our school has been very accommodating, our administration, as far as helping when they can, and we kind of took the attitude that we're not going to wait, and our field needs a lot of work, and anybody that, I encourage anybody to come out, eat, watch a little softball. You probably wouldn't recognize the field. We've really redone it the last 4 years. This year's proceeds, our main project is going to be redoing our whole backstop from dugout to dugout. We're going to put in brick with the padding and netting and everything. So, kind of like a college would have or something like that. So that's our big project to get done before the spring, and most of the proceeds from today on everything is going to go towards that.
So you mentioned you had pre-sold already 700 tickets for your Country Roads Fish Fry. As far as tonight, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the high school gymnasium, $9 for adults, $6 for children 12 and under. Do they have to buy a ticket at the door, or they just pay their money and get in?
No.
Sounds like it'd be pretty simple.
If they haven't bought a ticket yet, then they can come in and just pay the money to eat right then. It's all you can eat. They have popcorn, shrimp, and chicken tenders as well, salad buffet. 2 sides to go with that and a drink. There's dessert available. And, it should be a good event. And there's also carry-out available if somebody would want to just come and, pick up a carry-out. They can do that as well if they didn't want to dine in.
So, I'm a food guy, so I always have to break down everything there is to know about fish fries. You offer the alternative. If you don't like seafood like the popcorn shrimp or the fish, you offer the chicken strips, which is always very nice. I've had their chicken strips in addition to all of their seafood. It's great.
Well, I'm excited. I haven't ever ate, ever ate, but I've heard nothing but rave remarks about it. So I'm gonna have to try to break away from running everything and make sure I get to eat. Sometimes you're so busy. I want to make sure that 7 o'clock doesn't come, and I haven't went up there and got my plate full a couple times. But yeah, it's a great event. I don't know how much is usually going on in small towns on a Saturday morning, so we expect close to 1,000 people here for anything and everything throughout the day, and a good community event for Blueford, and great fundraiser, and we usually get great support for our baseball program, and it's going to be a great day. It's supposed to be nice weather today, so hope that everybody will hear this and come on out.
Well, you mentioned desserts, and I have to ask: are these going to be homemade desserts, or what do we got going on there?
We do have some homemade desserts.
We talking?
Are you a dessert guy?
Oh yeah, we talking pies and cakes, maybe some lemon bars, maybe a Texas sheet cake. What do we got going on there? Any idea?
I think there's going to be a little bit of anything and everything
there
out
you
here.
go.
So I'm sure your sweet tooth will be. I will guarantee your sweet tooth will be satisfied.
There you go. $9 for adults, $6 for children 12 and under. The fish fry course, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Slow pitch softball tournament today and tomorrow. Sounds like an extravagant event. We certainly hope that it helps bring the Weber Trojans baseball program a great deal of money.
I appreciate the support, and we hope so too.
Hey, speaking of support, we need to know your answer to our WMIX Sports social media.
It'll be a tough question again this week, isn't it?
Yeah, with the warm weather changing, we got some few more warm weather days left. What's that last outdoor chore or activity you have to do before that cold winter weather actually moves in?
Does going to World Series game in St. Louis Busch Stadium count here in a couple of weeks?
Sure. Yeah. In fact, we hope that happens as well.
I'd say that'd be a perfect ending, wouldn't it?
I think it would be, and I know I'm very much hoping that will happen and looking forward to that possibility. But, Sam, always a pleasure to have you on. We always appreciate you always taking the time out for us and just doing everything that you do for us, and we wish you the best of luck with your fundraiser this weekend.
Thank you very much. You guys have a great day. We hope to see you out.
You do the same thing. That is Sam Root, athletic director, baseball coach, Weber Township High School, and Country Roads Fish Fry. If you can make it out there, Blueford, it's you kind of get this misconception here in Mount Vernon and in Jefferson County and in the area that Weber, Blueford, and Wayne City are just these faraway places, and they're really not. It's going to take you at max 15 minutes to get there from downtown. You know what I mean? It doesn't take that long at all. Depending on how you drive, it may not even take you 15 minutes. Fish fry, 4 to 7, Country Roads. $9 if you're an adult. It's all you can eat. So, you know what? That $9 is going to stretch pretty tight. Yep. Pretty thin. I don't even know.
It'll go a long way.
There you go. That's the best way to say that because I have no idea what I really just said. Too many cups of coffee this morning. That said, $6 for children 12 and under. So take the kids. It's not going to cost you a lot unless you have a ton of kids, in which case that might add up a little bit. But still, they have chicken strips. They have popcorn shrimp, and they have fish, and it is delicious. And don't forget about the desserts as well. 2 sides and a drink. Forgot to ask the sides. I'm assuming baked beans at slaw, something along those lines would probably be my guess. That said, I've got to get off the food talk. Need to talk about some more sports here on the Saturday Sports. So we'll come back. We'll run down the scores again from last night's high school football action here on the Saturday Sports Show. It's all presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
Southern Illinois has a new home for the Dan Patrick Show. Jim Rome and Fox Sports Radio. The new 1300, The Fan.
I like that.
Dan Patrick.
Do you think the commissioner has made a mistake?
The facts that have been presented thus far do not back up the punishment that's been levied.
Sports talk, fueled by fans.
And the NCAA would have even less credibility and legitimacy than they don't have right now.
The new 1300 The Fan. Another Withers broadcasting station. Online at 1300thefan.com.
The state of denial is a drag and a trial. When I bought my cheap insurance, should have known this day would come. Now I've had an accident and I'm feeling quite alone. Called them at least 20 times, but they won't pick up the phone. Without personal service, my policy's kind of worthless. Get to a better state, State Farm.
Don't deny yourself to call an agent. Tony Wilt in Mount Vernon, 242-1421.
When an emergency happens, time is everything, and you don't want to spend that time in a waiting room. So choose Crossroads Community Hospital with our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge. The entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a physician, physician assistant, or nurse practitioner within 30 minutes of your arrival. When minutes matter, choose the ER that doesn't waste time. Choose Crossroads Community Hospital. Visit crossroadscommunityhospital.com/faster to learn more. If you are experiencing a medical emergency, call 911.
We welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, MyWithersRadio.com. We got done talking with Sam Root about their fundraiser in Blueford today. Another fundraiser going on Thursday night, Side Gymnasium in Woodlawn. The Woodlawn Lady Cardinals will take on the Crab Orchard Lady Trojans. JV matchup begins at 6:15. They are volleying for a cure, and of course it'll be senior night as well, but you can help paint the gym pink if you buy a Volley for the Cure t-shirt from a volleyball player. So see your Woodlawn Lady Cardinal volleyball player to buy a t-shirt. Also a silent auction, those are always nice, and a raffle, because you get the ability to bid without being annoyed by sounds and whatnot and people talking really fast. Kind of like, yeah. Anyhow, all proceeds will go to local women battling brain cancer, so we certainly hope that many will come out and support the cause. Spread the word, get the whole community involved. It's Volley for a Cure night at Woodlawn Sides Gymnasium as the Lady Cardinals battle the Crab Orchard Lady Trojans. Thursday, 6:15 JV start. Don't forget the silent auction and raffle. It's about 45 past the 9 o'clock hour. Time to run down our high school football scores one more time. Can we get those scores one more time?
South 7 Conference, Centralia beat Mount Vernon 43-26. Altoff over Cahokia 7-6. Marion over Carbondale 42-13. River to River, Harrisburg over Benton 20-7. Heron over Massac 63-21. And Murfreesboro over Frankfort 27-14. Carterville beat AJ 43-8. DuQuoin over Nash 55-16. And Pinckneyville over Sparta 35-12. Black Diamond, SVWW beats ET 46-zip. Johnston City over Hamilton County 42-16. Vinogorville beat El Dorado 22-12. Chester over Fairfield 42-14. And Carmi beats CZR 30-24. Mississippi Valley last night. Bethalto beat Triad 17-12. Jerseyville over Highland 33-22. And Mascoutah beat Waterloo 33-21. In the Apollo, it was Charleston over Salem 42-5. Mount Zion over Effingham 26-6. And Mattoon beat Paris 35-6. Week 1 opponent for Mount Vernon, Rochester, beat Lincoln 47-8. And Week 9 opponent, Mount Carmel, beat Boonville, Indiana 28-21. For all the scores listed by conference, divided up, and for your easy reading pleasure by conferences, go to facebook.com/WMIX Sports, where you will find out and see all those scores listed for your easy reading pleasure.
Of course, by now they're 41 minutes into the shotgun start up at the state golf finals in Normal in Class 2A. We wish the best of luck, of course, to Mount Vernon's Trevor Flota and Matthew Williams entering the day. I believe 78 put them tied for 17th. But we also wish the best of luck in 1A. We have in our own backyard, Nashville has the boys and girls fighting up there to state finals as teams. So we wish the best of luck there in Bloomington, I believe. Actually, girls, I think, are in Decatur.
Yes, that's
so
where.
My apologies there.
A friend of ours, Mike McManus, is driving up through some very thick fog to get to Decatur today.
As he is going to cover that one. And, of course, Nashville, it doesn't happen often to get both of your teams in golf at the state finals, but Nashville's done it in Class 1A. Massac County's girls at one point were in the lead yesterday as far as the team title is concerned. So it's going to be a busy day of golf. We certainly wish the best of luck to all of the area teams participating at the state golf finals today, be it 1A, 2A, or Class 3A in high school golf. They will wrap up today, and that'll pretty well be the end of golf season. Volleyball season is nearing its end. We had the the South 7 Conference cross country meet this past week. The Mount Vernon Rams, running Rams, finished in second place. They are off today. They will head to the Triad Regional next week. We'll talk with Clint Turner next week about the Runnin' Rams effort next week and his thoughts on David Monert winning your South 7 Conference Individual Championship. David finished in first place, and Carbondale edged the Rams in this South 7 Conference meet 30-32. Rams had the top finisher and had many in the top 10, but Carbondale's Carbondale went 2-3-4 or something along that line, and just kind of snuck in with that team title, edging the Mount Vernon Rams again 30-32 in that. Third place and beyond was where your drop-off was in terms of the South 7 Conference cross-country meet. So, again, the best of luck to the Mount Vernon Runnin' Rams next week. It's regional time. We also need to talk about soccer.
The boys' soccer team are third seed in the Carbondale Regional. They'll play Tuesday night at 7 p.m. against the host Carbondale Terriers. At 5 p.m. before that, Marion will play Centralia at 5 o'clock. Carbondale Mount Vernon at 7 o'clock. That'll be at the Super Block. And then, of course, the championship Saturday at 11 a.m. at Carbondale next week. The winner of that regional at the Carbondale next week advances to the Mattoon sectional Tuesday, October 23rd at 5 o'clock.
There you go, and I believe they would play the winner of the Jacksonville Regional. Your number one seed at Jacksonville, I believe, I'm trying to think off the top of my head here, I believe would have to be Glenwood if they feed into that. Glenwood does feed into it, thus they're the number one seed. Glenwood, a pretty talented soccer program in their own right, but you look at the number one seed, Marion, Carbondale draws the 2, Mount Vernon the 3, Centralia is the 4, and Mount Vernon will take on host Carbondale. That'll be a tough one. They always play a doubleheader at night. There's lights there at the Super Block, so we wish the best for Jeff Harrison and his Rams soccer team, but that's not necessarily an unwinnable matchup. The Rams will have to play their best soccer of the year to probably get past Carbondale at their home surface. But that said, it would certainly be nice to talk to Jeff Harrison next week as well before his team goes out to try to win a regional championship. A lot of work has to be done Tuesday night before then.
Tennis sectionals were yesterday. Looking for results. Nothing was posted on IHSA, so Mount Vernon ladies tennis team played yesterday. Also, a week from the day, cross-country regionals going on. Mount Vernon will be at Triad, both boys and girls. So busy time as fall wraps up. Of course, a week from tonight will be the IHSA posting football pairings. A week from Monday will be the time. So fall sports season winding down, and the scary part is 2 weeks from Monday, high school girls basketball practice starts. And today is, to my knowledge, the first games of junior high basketball as the Iuka tournament going on. Woodlawn is there, so first Saturday of basketball of any kind in the area going on now in October. That'll go through March or April as far as little peewees go.
Things are going to start heating up and getting very busy as far as the fall sports winding down and transitioning into the winter sports. Busy week for us next week as well. We pick up a volleyball makeup game on Monday night. Yes, a volleyball makeup game. I know you don't hear a lot of that in indoor sports, especially in the fall, but due to a lack of available officials on Thursday, September the 27th, the Mount Vernon Lady Rams and the Centralia Annies will play a makeup on Monday. We'll have that one for you on WMIX. We also have the call of Tuesday's matchup as the Lady Rams will welcome the Wayne City Indians. Then on Thursday, the Lady Rams will welcome the Carbondale Terriers for senior night. All those games on WMIX, video online, we hope, on mywithersradio.com. And then on Friday night, we head to the Snake Pit. The Mount Vernon Rams football team takes on the Golden Aces of Mount Carmel. And I suppose since we started this show off with high school football, maybe we can talk more about high school football, kind of bookend things here. We'd be remiss if we didn't mention the St. Louis Cardinals season continues into the NLCS tomorrow. Pre-game will be 6:40 here on your Cardinals Radio Network home, WMIX FM. And the first pitch, I believe, to be somewhere in the neighborhood of about 7:15 at San Francisco. So the Cardinals and the Giants, a rematch of 02 and 87 in the NLCS. Your home for Cardinals baseball, WMIX FM 94.1. But going back to high school football, we've told you time and time again, it's a winnable game for the Mount Vernon Rams against the Golden Aces. They go in 0-8. The Aces go in 5-3. We know that. One game that'll have a lot of interest in our extensive coverage area, I think, would be Centralia-Mascoutah. Can the Orphans go 9-0 for the first time since 1969? Because let's face it, you're going to have a lot of people here in our front and backyard right here not wanting that to happen. You're going to have a lot of people wanting to see the Orphans go 8-1, not go 9-0, but I think it's good for everybody if the Orphans do have a little bit of success, and that's going to lead, hopefully, other programs in the South 7 to step things up a little bit too.
It might be, and Mascoutah enters into that game kind of a tough season so far for them, as they were 2-5 going into last night, but it's a winnable game for Centralia, and again, the Orphans, if they get to 9-0, would be a number 1 seed, and again be one of those that go to 9-0, they would have a home game first round.
Yes, they would, and 8-1 might still get them a home game. We'll have to see who makes the playoffs in all of the classes, who bumps down to what. The Orphans outside looking in as far as dropping to Class 4A may happen, probably not. It would all depend on 8A and Chicago Public League schools, things of that nature, who makes it, who's bumped up, who's not, who drops down. So it'll be a very interesting week of high school football in Week 9. As we told you, the South 7 certainly going to be interesting. We have a lot of things getting started now as we transition into winter sports. Hard to believe. That's why our WMIX question of the week happens to be, with not many warm days remaining, cold weather getting ready to come in, what is that one last outdoor activity you just have to get in? Be it something you want to do, something you've been looking forward to do all summer. Maybe it's something you kept saying you were going to do all summer and just never got it in. Or maybe it's a dreaded chore outdoors that you want to get in. I know I can't really think anything right now, but you know what? What would your answer to that question be?
I got to get a lot more golf in. Got to get some yard work stuff done, wrapped up before basketball starts.
My answer,
clean the cars a little bit better, clean it up.
My answer at one time would have been golf. But since I have not picked up the sticks since 2008, I mean, I would love to play golf. Don't get me wrong. I would absolutely love that. But at the same time, I don't know. I wouldn't mind playing some football. Maybe, flag, touch, whatever. I'm too old to play tackle, probably. Some people do that. They play the tackle football without the pads, and end up getting hurt, and it's a bad deal. Happened to me in 2005. Got beat up. Got a little aggressive with somebody in a game in Benton and ended up getting punched in the face a couple times. It wasn't pretty. Not pretty at all. But you know what? You can participate in the discussion on WMIX Sports on Facebook or Twitter at WMIX Sports. Let us know what your answer is. I'm sure you might have a much better one than I do, but we certainly enjoy your participation on that. We'll come back with another question next week as we talk about high school football postseason, what we may expect. Hopefully we're talking a little bit about some Rams golfers who are underway.
Both of them start on hole 14. They are even par through 14 and 15 after 2 holes. So a good start for them, as they've already, by parring the first 2 holes, bumped up 2 places on the leaderboard.
It's amazing how you can go up and down. I don't know very many sports, let alone individual sports, to where just by hole to hole things can change so dramatically as golf. And that's part of what makes it so fun to watch. I don't think it gets the credit it deserves, and I know a lot of people don't take the time to take in a high school match, because a good high school match can also be pretty solid. Good golf is good golf.
Yep, it's hard to beat when you got that going on.
That you do in a lot.
That weather conditions up there today in Bloomington Normal area, I mean, if you see anything, I mean, there's only one birdie on the board so far in Class 2A. Lots of double bogeys in blue. I see a triple bogey, several triples. I see a 6-tuple bogey.
Yikes.
I see a snowman. I see a slinger. Oh, my.
What's a slinger?
7.
Oh, okay.
I see a quintuple bogey. I mean, there's some
Aren't
ugly
you supposed to stop
things.
after snowman?
No, not when you're playing in tournament golf.
I got you.
You get to continue on your merry way.
Pick it up and go on? None of that?
Nope. We got to put it out in this.
I can't imagine. No mulligans in high school state finals. I know somebody that learned that the hard way. That said, glad to have you with us as we wind down this Saturday Sports Today. Hope you enjoyed our lineup. Jared Shaner, Mount Vernon Rams football. Johnny Hollis, Sesser-Valier-Waltonville Woodlawn football. Quinn McClure joined us to talk about Matthew Williams and Trevor Flota, who are up at the state finals today in Normal. John Shadowens stopped by, our WMIX sports correspondent. We talked about a critical fundraiser for Weber baseball with Weber AD Sam Root. And they're having a slow-pitch softball tournament all day today as well as tomorrow. And, of course, you can join them there in Blueford for that. Country Roads Fish Fry tonight, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. All-you-can-eat fish, popcorn, shrimp, and chicken strips in the gymnasium of Weber Township High School. 2 sides and a drink plus dessert. $9 for an adult, $6 for children 12 and under. It's a Country Roads fish fry. Carryout is available if you just want to kind of grab and go, which some people are like that. If you want your money's worth, stay and do the ACE, or ACYE, the all you can eat. I haven't been to a fish fry in quite a while, but I know that those types of fish fries are typically very good. But follow us on Twitter at WMIX Sports. You can find us on Facebook as well, facebook.com/WMIX Sports. And a lot going on today, as we told you, in the local ranks, but a lot going on also. College football. Major League Baseball has the day off. NFL will pick back up tomorrow, and it's going to be a busy, busy weekend if you love sports.
Oh, it's going to be a definitely big weekend. You have, baseball playoffs. You have NASCAR's winding down, race number 5 at Charlotte tonight, in fact. You have NFL's high gear. You have, obviously college football in high gear as well. So it's a very busy, busy time of year as far as, the NBA starting to kick up. College basketball opened up practice last night. It's a busy time of season. The weather's changing, outside activities going on as cold weather starts to slowly move in little by little. So it's a very busy time of year, that's for sure.
Well, and of course, much interest in college football right now. They have quite a few games going on today. I love how college football is always so spread out. You get the Thursday night games, you get the Saturday games, and it just really seems like college football is on the rise in terms of popularity. I know it's always been popular, but it just seems like with labor issues at the professional ranks, college sports are really starting to take a bigger part of society.
Homecoming parade today going on now in Carbondale. Salukis host Northern Iowa at 2 o'clock today at Saluki Stadium. So that's going on in the area. Nice weather for it if anybody wants to head down to Carbondale and watch the Salukis.
Of course, speaking of professional football, the St. Louis Rams are back in action in terms of our interest. I shouldn't forget this. You can catch the Salukis on the Saluki Sports Network. Locally, of course, in terms of Mount Vernon, X95.3 Centralia would be a good place to catch that, or the flagship WVZA FM 105.1 VZA. We also have St. Louis Rams football tomorrow, noon pregame, noon kickoff on AM 940 as the Rams battle the Miami Dolphins on the road, and that's going to be the battle for Jeff Fisher. Fisher had the opportunity to go to the Dolphins or the Rams, chose the Rams, had more control coming into St. Louis and a better final say, so to speak, and the Rams certainly seem to be benefiting from the tutelage of Jeff Fisher.
Benefiting and doing some things differently both on and off the field for that organization. And Jeff Fisher's been a good coach for too long not to be able to go in and get some things changed there in St. Louis.
Well, exactly, and they're going to continue to do that. The NFL's been very interesting over the course of this season. Atlanta off to a hot start. You had the Giants start off somewhat sluggishly against the Cowboys, but they've kind of rebounded a little bit nicely. Minnesota probably a surprise team. Green Bay's lack of success has been a shock. I think New Orleans' lack of success, not a shock.
Pittsburgh
up and down.
Struggling. New England needs to get a defense. Lots of things going on. So we're getting reports now back to IHSA Golf. Heavy rain and wind up to 25 mile an hour up in Bloomington Normal area. So that is just – those golfers are going through some absolutely awful weather today in Bloomington Normal.
Well, and it's going to be absolutely nasty. Severe weather threat up in that neck of the woods. Of course, fog this morning on your way up north, and it's just been somewhat treacherous in that area today. And so we certainly hope they play it safe, but we also hope that everything goes well. The local golfers, Nashville boys and girls in Class 1A, the Mount Vernon Rams individuals, of course, up there. Trevor Flodham, Matthew Williams, the seniors, came into today's action tied for 17th with 78, and looking forward to an auspicious occasion out of them today. Should be good. Can't forget another one of our fundraisers going on. I forgot to mention this for a third time. Volley for the Cure at Woodlawn on Thursday night at 6:15. Of course, Sides Gymnasium, the Lady Cardinals will take on Crab Orchard. Paint the gym pink. Buy a Volley for the Cure T-shirt from a Lady Cardinal volleyball player. Silent auction and raffle as well. All the proceeds will go to a local woman battling brain cancer. That'll be Thursday night from Sides Gymnasium. 6:15 will be your JV start. Oh. Okay. 1 clock telling me 10 o'clock, 1 clock telling me 9:56. So I actually have 4 minutes left in the program that I didn't realize that I had. All righty. So there we go on the Saturday Sports Show. Sometimes you're dropped with a little bit of surprise. I was looking at a clock, an analog clock in one of the studios telling me 10 o'clock, and the clock that matters telling me it's only 4
till. Cell phone time says 9:56.
Yeah. I will start going by that in the future, not the analog clock in the AM studio. There we go. Which is
Reese is holding it up.
Which I'm going to try not to throw down and break. I'm just kidding. I'm
he's-
nowhere near it. I'm joking.
Because I thought there was less time left, too, till I looked at the cell phone clock.
Yeah.
But that's the way it is.
That's why I went into the wind down when I did. We still had plenty of time to talk about some local sports going on here on WMIX. Don't forget you can catch the archive broadcast on mywithersradio.com. We're working on Rams football from last night. We'll get today's edition of the Saturday Sports Show uploaded as well in a matter of moments as we near the 10 o'clock hour here in the King City. So about 2.5 minutes left on the program. We'll run down our broadcast schedule for next week. Mount Vernon Lady Rams volleyball against Centralia. It's a makeup game on Monday night, October the 15th. 5:15 will be your freshman start time. South 7 Conference play for the Lady Rams as they wind down with 3 final home games on the 2012 campaign. Centralia on Monday night. Then on Tuesday night, they welcome the Wayne City Lady Indians in non-conference play. That'll be a 6:30 JV start at Shagnon Gym. We'll have that one for you as well. We will also have the play-by-play on Thursday night as the Lady Rams welcome the Carbondale Terriers on senior night. That'll round out their home schedule. That'll round out their regular season in 2012. You can find it all online with video at mywithersradio.com. Friday night, we'll actually have to go somewhere. We've been home a lot lately with Rams football and Lady Rams volleyball, but Friday night, the Mount Vernon Rams will travel to Mount Carmel to take on the Golden Aces as the Rams finish off their 2012 campaign. 6:40 will be your pregame. 7 o'clock will be your kickoff on WMIX and mywithersradio.com. Rams football is and Lady Rams volleyball is presented by your official voice of the Rams and Lady Rams, Community First Bank of the Heartland. So we'll round that out. We'll have postseason coverage of Lady Rams volleyball coming your way as the Lady Rams will head to the Centralia Regional on Tuesday, October the 23rd. We estimate maybe about a 6:45, 6:50 pregame, 7 o'clock first serve from the CHS Regional as the Mount Vernon Lady Rams, the number 2 seed, will battle the number 3 seed, Centralia Annies. We look forward to having regional coverage of Lady Rams volleyball for you again right here. WMIX video online at mywithersradio.com. We'll take them as far as they go. That would be a Thursday regional championship game if they're able to beat the Orphan Annies. They would get the winner of Benton and the winner of the play-in game, which would either be Mount Carmel or West Frankfort. So that's how your Centralia Volleyball Regional shapes up. We hope you'll join us next week as we talk more about high school fall sports postseason. We'll wrap up the Mount Vernon Rams golf season. We'll talk Mount Vernon Rams cross country as they head to the Triad Regional. And we'll talk with a bevy of high school football coaches as well. It's all to come next week here on your Saturday Sports Show. Might even talk to see how those Cardinals are doing. Tomorrow night is your pregame 6:40. 7:15 first pitch as the Cardinals come from behind to beat Washington last night 9-7. 4 runs in the top of the ninth inning put the Cardinals ahead. They win Game 5. They head to the NLCS. First game, San Francisco tomorrow night. WMIX FM, St. Louis Rams tomorrow, AM 940 at noon. On the road against Miami. We hope you'll join us for all of that and more here on WMIX Mount Vernon, a free service from Withers Broadcasting. NBC News now.